नमो नमस्ते गुरवे महात्मने विमुक्तसंगाय सदुत्तमाय नित्याद्वयानन्दरसस्वरूपिणे भूम्ने सदा पारदयाम्बुधाम्ने नमस्ते नमस्ते विभो विश्वमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते चिदानन्दमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते तपोयोगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुतिज्ञानगम्य स्वाराज्य साम्राज्य विभूतिरेषा भवत्कृपा श्रीमहिमप्रसादात् प्राप्ता मया श्रीगुरवे महात्मने नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमस्तस्मै सदैकस्मै कस्मै चिन्महसे नमः यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते। हरि ओम तत्सत्। जय गुरु। Seeing you after 1.5 months. Sorry, not seeing you after 1.5 months. We never see you, na? So I had forgotten that we have to start with the Shanti mantra because we are taking the Upanishadic class. Suddenly while chanting the Guru invocation I remembered. So I was looking into the book, what is the Shanti mantra? Let us chant the Shanti mantra and then we'll start. ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः
ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः
भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः
भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः
स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांसस्तनूभिः
स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांसस्तनूभिः
व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः
व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः
स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः
स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः
स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः
स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः
स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्योऽरिष्टनेमिः
स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः
स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु
स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु
ॐ Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om. Before coming, I was asking that how can I go on speaking the same thing again and again and again? We do speak only about the same thing throughout our life, but it is convenient to speak when there are live questions and we discuss with people. Presenting the truth from some book, always it gives a little different direction, but because it is all Upanishads, the direction also is more or less the same. It's not easy to go on speaking on the same topic in front of a camera, where we don't see the... Of course, always you are in our mind, that is why we are able to speak. That is what I said, that not seeing after a long time or seeing after a long time, that your presence makes us speak. That is true, but at the same time, there's a difference with a live question and answer. That is why you will find that in the Upanishads, always, most of the Upanishads are written in the conversational form, that the disciple is raising some question and the teacher is answering them. So, the fundamental thing, we should not forget that it is not a philosophy that we are discussing. If suppose we discuss about bhakti, where there is not so much of philosophy perhaps, and we are able to soak ourselves in the emotion of bhakti, I understand there is a great joy in it. So we can regularly listen to devotion-oriented deliberation by completely getting tuned to that, shedding tears or having haripulation and enjoying it. But really speaking, it is not all in the enjoyment. We have to think that even the Bhagavatam, the great Bhakti Grantha, it says that Bhaktir Viraktir Bhagavat Prabodha. The bhakti to the Lord or to the Absolute Truth or the bhakti itself should lead us to Virakti. Virakti means make us free from the worldliness. It must reduce our indulgence in worldliness. So if we find that the Virakti is not growing, that means bhakti also has not been practiced. We are listening to bhakti, we are shedding tears hearing about bhakti stories or bhakti deliberation. But until it gives rise to Virakti, until we feel free from the clutch of worldliness, the bhakti will not be effective. We should analyze like this. Bhaktir Viraktir Bhagavat Prabodha. These two, when the bhakti, real bhakti, true bhakti, what is true bhakti? It means surrender. Bhakti is not just going to the temple or reading some bhakti grantha or doing puja. The real meaning of bhakti is surrender. Surrender to what? It doesn't matter. Surrender is a state of our mind. You may surrender to the Lord, you may surrender to your Guru. But the fact is that what is that surrender? It is your surrender. It must blossom in you. What is that surrender? Surrender means there should not be any complaint about anything in the world. That is, whatever is done by God, by the ultimate power, or if you say by your Guru, it is by the Guru. So whatever comes to our life, we readily accept, a complete acceptance of anything that comes in our life. Acceptance means there cannot be any complaint, any abhava bodha. Generally we start our life with abhava bodha, insufficiency. We lack something. That is why we look for happiness from the world. But the real happiness is not in the world, it is right within. Even if when we are getting the happiness from the world, it is not the world which is giving us happiness. The happiness is always oozing out from our within, from our real identity. Its very nature is bliss. So although something in the external world may initiate it to get in touch with the happiness, but the real happiness is from within only. The blissfulness is from within. And when we surrender, when we accept everything, then we are always happy, we are always cheerful. So that is the bhakti, which means surrender, must lead to the lack of the freedom from worldliness, that clutch of the world which makes us always grief-stricken or elated or depressed. We pass through that constantly in our daily life. The placidity of the mind doesn't dawn. Now when these two are there, the bhakti is applied to our life, that means surrender is applied to every aspect of our life, even in the thought process. Aspect means, we think that surrender means when something happens, oh, I must pay to Lord and I must accept it. It is not like that. If you look into your mind, you will find that deep inside always there is something, some expectation, some lack of satisfaction, some lack of fulfillment. Always there is within, which is not allowing us to be fulfilled. So the surrender has not worked there. So although we may think that surrender means it is about the situation in the world, no, the real surrender, as we advance in our sadhana, the real surrender is always applicable within, to our every thought, every expectation, every analysis also. So when that is there, and that leads to the virakti, the freedom from worldliness, the clutch of worldliness, then automatically dawns Bhagavat Prabodha, the experience of, you may call it Lord, you may call it our own soul, you can call it Atma, or you can call it the ultimate truth. An experience of the Atma. Bhaktir Viraktir Bhagavat Prabodha. Prabodha means, bodha means the feeling, anubhuti. Prabodha means prakrishta anubhuti. That means we completely are drenched in the truth of the soul. If it doesn't come, that means bhakti has not become purified, has not attained its wholesomeness. Surrender is incomplete. And correspondingly, our freedom from the worldliness also is incomplete. That is why we are not having the Bhagavat Prabodha. Now that is about bhakti, but same is true about this knowledge of the Upanishad also. If we have studied all the Upanishads, known about Brahman and Atma, it's nothing. Every time we study, we must try to take our mind to that infinite level, that supreme transcendental dimension. Here also, just like Bhaktir Viraktir Bhagavat Prabodha, here the knowledge also should lead to Virakti and Bhagavat Prabodha, Atma Prabodha. Then only that study is fruitful. In fact, There is no difference between bhakti and jnana. As I said, bhakti means surrender. Jnana also means surrender initially, till the jnana becomes perfect, becomes fulfilled. And we know that there is nothing for us to surrender. We are already surrendered. We have nothing to surrender at all. We are nothing. It's all, we are only a witness to the whole play of the infinite universe, which contains this body-mind personality as a small speck which is doing its part. So there also it is the same thing. Now we said that the Upanishadic knowledge, the fundamental thing we should remember is that we start with the concept of Atma. Now what is that Atma? It is defined as Aham Pratyaya Gocharaha, which is known by the Pratyaya, the conviction that comes out from deep within amness, that I, Aham, Aham, Aham. I have repeatedly said that there cannot be any experience without this I, that the feeling of the I. You can think of dream, you can think of memory that you have gone somewhere, you can think of some other imaginary thing. Everywhere you try to think deeply. Without the I being present there, you won't have any other thought, any other experience at all. Nothing is possible without that I. So this Aham Pratyaya Gocharaha, this is what we call Atma. Now, initially we think that I am only this body-mind personality that is separate from the whole objective world. So we suffer from the ignorance and we call it Dehatma Bodha. Deha, we consider our Sharira, the seat of experience, to be the Atma. Now, what do we go through the Upanishadic pursuit of Upanishadic knowledge? In the Upanishads, it is mentioned as Brahmatmaikatva Bodha. Brahma, Atma, Ekatva Bodha. That means whatever is defined as the Brahman in the Upanishad is nothing different from the Atma we feel, Aham Pratyaya Gocharaha. The Ekatva of the two, the realization, the Bodha, the Upalabdhi, the Anubhuti of the two being same is the ultimate goal of Upanishad. So, we feel that I am constricted, I am small and the whole world is different from me. And the Upanishad repeatedly urges us to think that the whole universe is appearing in me. I am infinite. Oh, then will it lead to a greater ego? No, there is a delusion. When we identify with the universal I, by that small egoistic I does not become big, that our ego will increase. Rather, the ego gets dissolved. The posited small ego about our own identity, that gets dissolved in the universal I. So there is no question of any ego coming in. So, that is the ultimate goal in the Upanishads. So as we always speak about the thumb rule, that every day what are we to look within and find out what is our sadhana? That it is our identity from its smallness, which is different from everything else in the objective world. That identity expanding and embracing the whole world within it, and finally getting dissolved in the Chidakasha, we said, the Chit, the conscious space in which the whole universe only floats, appears to be. We identify with the consciousness. So, it is a process of expansion, is it not? From the small I to the limitless I, to the ever expanding I, to the dissolution of the I. Either you call it zero or infinity, it doesn't matter. It is transcendental. So, that is a process of expansion. So, every day, whatever sadhana we do, whether it is bhakti, puja, reading the shastras, listening to the talk, whatever, is it making us more and more selfish or constricted? Or our selfishness is reducing? It is getting lightened every day. We are expanding every day. That is the test of our sadhana. It must lead us to expansion. It must lead us to, we can say, even evaporation, expansion. Whether it is happening or not, by reading the Upanishads, we have to find out. So the test is whether we are getting rid of our selfishness, our sankirnata, our constrictions, whether the mind is getting freed of its constrictions, ego, heaviness. Ego always comes with a heaviness of the mind. The constrictions always come with a limiting, a constricting tendency of the mind, stress in the mind. It causes all the stress in our mind are created by this constriction, ego. If it is getting reduced every day or not, that is our test. By devotion, pursuing devotion, by surrender, what happens is the ego gets melted. The more and more we surrender, not only externally, as I just now said, internally, you will find the bondages of the mind, the constrictions of the mind, the limitations of the mind, they get dissolved. Similarly, as we read the Upanishads, this ego must become lighter, dissolve, and finally we must become sky-like or even more, get lost in the conscious space. So whatever in Kaivalya Upanishad we have been studying, as in the beginning Miru has summarized, we have been going step by step like that. And in any Upanishad, this is more or less, these are the steps. And finally we come to this Brahmatmaikatva Bodha. That is Brahman and Jiva. The Brahman and the Atma, they are not different. They are the same. You can call it Jiva also. When we look at the Atma with the ignorance, we call it Jiva. So it is the same. I will just read a few shlokas which we have done, where from this Sarvatma Bodha is started. See, this Sarvatma also, when we say, these words will come, but they should speak to us. They should give us a clue to our sadhana. What is Sarvatma? Atma is said, Aham Pratyaya Gocharaha. That Atma, we said that we start from Deha Atma Bodha. That means I am considering the I is my body, mind, personality. And we reach to Brahma Atma Ekatva Bodha, that I consider that I, that Aham, is everything in which the conscious space in which the whole universe is appearing to be. Now, when we say Sarvatma, the immediate meaning which will dawn in your mind is Sarva is there. That means Sarva means everything. That the whole world is there, everything is there, table, chair, everything is there, and everything inside there is an Atma, and I am that Atma. It is just the general surface meaning. But it is not so. When we say Atma, suppose we are thinking of the chair, will we think that I am the chair? It won't come. Chair is different from me. I am thinking everything else is different from me. How can I think that the Atma, the Aham Bodha will come from the things we think are different from me? Only when we understand that the whole universe, the objective universe, is nothing but an appearance in the conscious space which I consider to be I always we are referring to. In that the whole universe is appearing to be, then the whole universe loses its separate existence, its gross separate identity. It appears only in me. Then only we call it Sarvatma. Sarvatma means that the truth is the Atma for everything, because they are appearing in the Atma. So I will read this. Sarvabhutasthamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani sampashyan brahma paramam yatinatnena hetuna atmanam maranim kritva pranavam chottaranim jnana nirmathanabhyasat pasham dahati panditaha Saeva maya parimohitatma shariramastaya karoti sarvam stryanyapanadi vichitra bhogaihi saeva jagrat paritriptimeti swapne sajiva sukha dukkha bhokta Swamayaya kalpita jivaloke sushupti kale sakale viline tamo bhibhuta sukharupameti punascha janmantara karma yogat saeva jivasvapiti prabuddha puratraye kridati yascha jivaha tatastu jatam sakalam vichitram Adharamanandamakhannabodham yasmin layam yati puratrayam cha Adharamanandamakhannabodham yasmin layam yati puratrayam cha. So here the basic theme is Brahman and Atma are the same. And through various examples, expositions, he is trying to give us a feeling of that. But the fundamental theme is Brahman, Atma are the same. Sarvabhutastham Atmanam Sarvabhutani cha Atmani. That is, I am in everything and everything is in me. Always you will find this two-way statement to make the identity complete. Sampashyan Brahma Paramam, one who sees the Supreme Brahman, who realizes the Supreme Brahman. Sampashyan means Samyak Pashyan. It's not Pashyan with the eyes. Yati nanyena hetuna. It doesn't go, this differential vision doesn't go without seeing the Supreme Brahman. By any other method it doesn't go. Because you have to become the Atma of everything. Then the method, as it said, Atmanam aranim kritva pranavam chottaranim, which we have discussed in great detail. Jnana nirmathanabhyasat pasham dahati panditaha. It's a mixture of Om Upasana and Jnana practice. Consider the Atma to be the Adhararani, as they are taking the example of the fire produced by rubbing to wood for the Jajna. So Pranavam means the Omkara. Consider it to be the Uttararanim. What do you do with the Uttararanim? You rub the Adhararanim. So the Atma is already there. You are rubbing it with the Omkara by practicing, by chanting Omkara, by meditating on Omkara, or finally by understanding the Omkara, which represents the ultimate knowledge, which represents Brahman, Brahma Vidya. So jnana nirmathana. Nirmathana means churning. You have to churn with the jnana danda, as in buttermilk we churn with the stirrer. Here in this case, you have to use the tool, the knowledge as the tool. See, this I repeatedly remind, that knowledge is not like any other knowledge, that you read it, you understood it, and you have understood the knowledge which remains different from you. In spirituality, the entire knowledge is about our own identity. So more and more we use the knowledge, we understand the knowledge, as the understanding becomes more and more complete, that I in us becomes that knowledge, the Atma we are studying about. Initially the Atma we study about remains different from the I we feel. But as we come to the realization, the both become the same. So we are actually, it is not a knowledge we are acquiring. We are using the knowledge of the Shastras, the knowledge of the Upanishads as a tool to churn our own being, so that the Adhararani, the Atma, becomes the Brahman through that churning. Pasham dahati panditaha. One who is a knower, who is a wise person, by this churning, he removes all the bondages, pasha, the bondages of worldliness that we are suffering from. The world has created, because we are considering the world as different from me. We are thinking that the joy will come from the world by doing something or not doing something. That never comes. Otherwise we would have been fulfilled by getting something from the world. So, all the pasha, all the bandhana, all the bondages we have created by the delusion that the joy lies outside, and we will get the joy by gaining something from the world. By the jnana nirmathana, that those bondages have to go. Go from where? From our within, from our intelligence. The ignorance sits in the buddhi. So the jnana has to remove the ajnana from the buddhi. When the jnana removes the ajnana, we know what we are. We don't have to create that. Just like removing the cloud by the wind, the sun becomes visible. We have not created the sun. It was not visible because of the cloud, and the wind had to clear the cloud, like that jnana had to clear the ajnana, so that our real identity becomes visible. Saeva maya parimohitatma shariram asthaya karoti sarvam. See, he is saying that this Brahman, which is Atma, which is the same as Brahman, as if by Maya it is getting associated with a body and creating all sorts of this worldly magic and whatnot. The whole mystery is there. Actually it is free. And what will happen if we really take to the Upanishadic declaration? Then we will get lot of confidence that we are not bound. We are only thinking that we are bound. If we can take this knowledge as a tool, the moment we understand this, our bondages will be free, at least to some extent. Every time we study it, it should be more and more free. That is really, the Atma is not bound with the association of the body and the body-limited, body-identified objects. It creates its own bondage. As the example I had given the other day of the cows, that cows, you give a 10-meter long rope, but for grazing, and when you come back in the evening, you find that it has gone round and round and round the peg, and it is standing like this. No rope length is there. It has tied itself and not able to freely roam around in the grazing in the field. Like that we are tying ourselves by the bondages created by us because of the delusion. Will it not give us great confidence that we are not bound really? So we can become free. Any one of us can become free. It's not that some know or sometimes have become free. We don't want. We have not tried. If we try, all of us will become free. Any one of us will become free. So he says, Saeva Maya Parimohitatma. That Brahman which is now with the association of the body is appearing like Jiva is getting deluded by the moha, by the ajnana. Shariram asthaya karoti sarvam. With taking recourse to the body, it does whatever it does throughout the life. It enjoys the stri, anna and pana, food and sex and what not. Vichitra bhogaihi. Not only that, various infinite kinds of variegated enjoyment. Why? The enjoyment is within him. It is always coming from within. But they think that it has come from the drink, it has come from the food, it has come from the wife, it has come from the son, it has come from the grandson, granddaughter. It is coming from the company, it is coming from money, it is coming from fame. We have explained this so many times, that the desires for this, whatever joy we are getting, it is only transitory. Why? Because the desires are actually disturbing our mind, stressing our mind, so that the spontaneous flow of ananda we are not able to feel. When the desires are fulfilled, that means the desires are eliminated. When it is fulfilled, no more desire is there. So as long as any other desire does not come in and disturb our mind, or the fear of losing what we have gained does not come and occupy our mind, we get the joy, because the mind is free of desires and it is able to feel the ananda which is our birthright, which is always flowing from our real identity. Anandadhyeva khalvimani bhutani jayante. Anandena jatani jivanti anandam pravishanti avisamvishanti. Because the whole universe is born of ananda. How can you miss ananda anywhere? The whole universe is born of ananda. It is sustained by ananda. It dies in ananda. Ultimately it gets dissolved in ananda. Everything is ananda. Saiva jagrat paritriptimeti. But being the small, the puny jiva associated with the body, as if it thinks that I am satisfied with all this bhoga. Not only that, they are speaking about the different states. That is the wakeful state, this is what he said. Then the swapna, what happens? Swapne sa jivaha sukha dukkha bhokta. Swamayaya kalpita jiva loke. Here we understand that in the dream, whatever is happening, it's an entirely a creation of the jiva itself, the smallness of our eye also. That small eye is creating the swapna. But there also we are undergoing the sukha and dukkha bhoga, created by our own fragmented maya also. Because what is there? When the dream goes, the whole dream world has got dissolved in my mind. And when I slept, it is my mind which had created the dream world. So the whole dream world is sustained in the mind and mind alone. It gets dissolved in the mind alone. Sushupti kale sakale viline tamobhibhutaha sukharupameti. In Sushupti, in the deep sleep, that dream also is gone. There is no activity, nothing. Then he is completely peaceful, blissful also. Sukharupameti. But, my dear souls, tamo vibhutaha. Do you know that you are in the lap of the soul, which we are trying throughout our life to realize? In Sushupti, we are lying on the lap of the soul, completely dissolved in the soul, in the blissfulness. But there also the tamoguna is covering our knowledge. We are in Sushupti, we are in the blissful state, but we never know that it is so. See the pathetic state of our foolishness, of our delusion. Every night we are given that state, but we are kept away from knowing that it is that state. But subliminally it is doing its job, because otherwise next day we won't get up with the refreshed energy and again go out in the world to have the same Vijitra Bhogai with all the delusion again. It is the Sushupti which regenerates our whole being. But at the same time, we don't come to know the soul because of the tamo vibhutaha. We are covered by the tamoguna. That is the difference between the Sushupti and Samadhi. That if you are not covered by the tamoguna, then that becomes the Samadhi. That you know, what am I? What is the consciousness? What is the conscious sky? Then he goes to the Punascha Janmantara Karma Yogat. Now this Janmantara can be explained in various ways, and you will have all kinds of ways. I have explained earlier also how it can be scientifically understood, but I cannot explain again and again. But basically, see, it is not that the jiva go out of that body and entered is in another body and one-to-one relation, then that is another janma, that is another janma. Here in all these shlokas of this section, everywhere it is the Brahman and the Atma, they are the same. They are talking about the Turiya existence, the Turiya which is undergoing the three states, as it has already talked about the three cities passing over. The Turiya, our Atma, the real identity is passing through Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. So it is talking about that. Now, that is the Brahman. Now, any production, any creation, it means it's the creation in the consciousness. It is a consciousness appearing as the created objects. So Janmantara need not be that jiva has gone out and got into another. It is the same consciousness which is giving rise to all the things now available, all the beings now available. They are also our Janmantara only, provided we associate with the ultimate I. It is all the janmas, the different janmas of the I itself. So this karma, which is meaning is, I have repeatedly said, karma means causal chain, causality. The whole created universe is moving by cause and effect chain. As in the waves, if there is a wave now, you see that wave, the responsible for creating wave, there are unlimited number of waves over unlimited time. You cannot say that the just previous second this wave was there and that wave has become this wave. You cannot. This wave is a combination of effort of so many waves in the previous time, then further number in the previous to previous time. Like that you can go back to infinite backward, and all these are causing the present wave. So we cannot determine that this wave is born out of another single wave or so. That one-to-one correspondence is not there. Like that the whole universe which is appearing in consciousness, in that universe this causality is valid, the causal chain, the causal law is valid. And they are undergoing the karmas. So anything good is done, that good will give rise to good productions in the world. Any bad we do give rise to bad productions in the world, we should know. But people do not understand. That is why he said that do good things and the next life you will be good. It is not, for everybody it is true. We should always do which will expand our mind, which is good and which will be good for the society, good for the world. That is why there should be some service orientation in a spiritual center. The spiritual seekers must be given to serving the world, serving the people. Otherwise their mind will not expand. Mind will become shrunk, will remain selfish, will become more and more self-centered. How will you get rid of the self-centered? The fundamental teaching of all our Shastras is to get away from the self-centeredness, get away from selfishness. Do something, whatever will make you non-selfish. Do something for others so that your mind gets rid of the self-centeredness. That is the basic sadhana. So he says, Punascha Janmantara Karma Yoga. That is, the whole causal flow is going on. So that is giving rise to again the same three states of Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, wakefulness, dream and sleep. And it is going on like that. Saeva jiva swapiti prabuddha. It is sometimes it is wakeful, sometimes it is swapna, sometimes it is getting awakened also. Puratraye kridati yashcha jivaha tatastu jatam sakalam vichitram. It again goes on playing in these three cities everywhere, because the whole world is chained by this causality, and everywhere this play is going on. Time is no barrier there. It is beyond time. Time has no origin. The time is within the delusion. So in that, the causality and time are together playing the whole chain of mystic display, magic. But what is the true? Jatam sakalam vichitram. All the variety is born out of that. But let us not forget Adharam Anandam Akhanda Bodham. Adharam, the substratum of all this variegated world drama. Anandam Akhanda Bodham. It is the bliss we are looking for from the world, from the fragmented object to gain something from the world and get the ananda. No. The Adharam Anandam. And what is it? Akhanda Bodham. It is not Khanda Bodha, it is Akhanda Bodha. Any experience with Akhanda, when does it become? As I said that all the experiences are Khanda. The world experiences are Khanda. But the I you cannot miss anywhere. Even in sleep that I is there. So that is why you know that you have slept. Without I, you cannot have anything. Even when you are thinking of something happened long back, without you being present, you cannot think of anything. Everywhere, when the mind is thinking of something, thousands of years hence, what will happen? I is already there to tell you what is happening there. Without I, there cannot be anything at all. So that bodha, the bodha of the I is akhanda. It doesn't die with the death of the body. It doesn't die when the body is sleeping. It doesn't die when the body, it doesn't get transformed when the body is dreaming or wakeful. It is an akhanda bodha. So adharam anandam akhanda bodham yasmin layam yati puratrayam ja, in which all the three cities, the lokas of Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, they all get dissolved. So you see how in every shloka he is coming to that. After explaining the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti and Janmantara, he is bringing in that we are missing the Adharam, Anandam, Akhanda Bodham. That is why we are thinking that these fragmented things are the truth. To get rid of that, Pasham Dahati Panditaha. Jnana nirmathana abhyasat. We have to do the churning with the rod of knowledge, with the churning rod of knowledge. Jnana nirmathana. The same thing will be continued. 15th shloka. We have done 1.5 months back, up to this 14th. Now let us come to the 15th shloka. Etasmad jayate prano
एतस्माज्जायते प्राणो
मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च
मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च
एतस्माज्जायते प्राणो
एतस्माज्जायते प्राणो.
See here etasmat jayate, that tahlant will be there, so because of the sandhi it becomes jaja. So while pronouncing we will say etasmat jayate pranaha, that visarga gets dropped and okara comes because it is followed by ma, which is a soft consonant. But when we split, we may say pranaha also. Here we are keeping it prano because the whole shloka has to be chanted. Etasmat jayate prano
एतस्माज्जायते प्राणो
manas sarvendriyani cha
मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च
kham vayurjyotirapaha
खं वायुर्ज्योतिरापः
kham vayurjyotirapaha
खं वायुर्ज्योतिरापः
पृथिवी विश्वस्य धारिणी
पृथिवी विश्वस्य धारिणी
खम वायुः then jyotihi jyotihi becomes vayurjyotihi jyotihi and apaha means water becomes it gets converted into ra jyotirapaha prithvi vishwasya dharini. Now see in the first line the Upanishad is talking about all the internal things. What are they? Pranaha, manaha, sarvendriyani. Now, indriyas, you may say they are external. No, the real indriyas are internal, in the brain actually. The indriyas, because the sensations, whatever you have, of the 5 kinds of sensations, if you go into it even scientifically also, when it moves from the outer sense organ, the gross sense organs to inside, there is no sound, no vision, nothing. It's all electrical pulses which are going to the brain. From the sense, the outer sense organs, the gross organs, indriyas, whatever sensations are going within, they are all only electrical pulses. But they excite the different regions of the brain which produces all kinds of different sensations. So in our Shastras also it is referred to as Sthula Indriya and Sukshma Indriya. That is, Sthula Indriya is outside, but Sukshma Indriya is inside. When in Swapna, in dream, we are seeing the world with all the 5 senses, is it not? Are the outer gross indriyas open? If something is shown when you are sleeping and dreaming, you will not see. The eyes will see, but it won't go inside. Inside you are seeing something else. Is it not? All the outer sound, suppose there is a tuck sound outside. In dream, you are incorporating that sound. If it comes through and agitates something here, you will think that it is the sound of a bell or something, whatever dream is going on. You are creating that over there. You are not responding to the outside at all. So the Sukshma Indriya which are working inside, they are actually inside. The real Indriya is inside, which gives the 5 kinds of variegated responses or signals, creating the world we see within. The whole world we perceive, it is actually within. The outer world passing through our 5 senses, inside it is all electrical pulses only. Then in the brain also, if you take a picture of the brain, it is only electrochemical reactions and electrical waves and all. There is no sound, nothing. The whole jugglery is in the mind. So the world we are seeing as the constituted of the 5 sense perceptions, they are all inside. So the first line is etasmad jayate, from the Brahman which is getting associated with the body and behaving like the life forces in the body. Etasmad jayate pranaha, the life force which is active in the body, which is creating something and exhibiting as the mind. Manaha, sarvendriyani. The manaha is constituting of all kinds of sense responses, which are coming from the 5 sukshma indriyas. They are constituting the whole world. The world is nothing but we call it Fourier constitution in mathematics. That is, 5 coordinates are there, the 5 senses. The whole world can be reduced into these 5 senses, the combination of these 5 signals. So it is all internal, the first line. That from the conscious sky, from the conscious space, which in association of the body is behaving like the jiva, is producing is all these internal faculties. Not only that, it is also responsible for the outer things also. How? Kham, Vayuhu, Jyotihi, Apaha, Prithivi, all the 5. The 5, that means Panchabhutas. Why this world is made of Panchabhuta? Do you find these Panchabhutas there in the external world, that we say that the world is made of Panchabhuta? Our scientists may say that these Shastras are obsolete. We have so many elements, so many elementary particles which makes the world. No, we are more intelligent. Our Shastras will never change as long as the human body is the same. Our elementary particles undergo change every year or every decade. Newer particles are found. Then we go to further, from atom, molecule to electron, proton to further elementary particles to finally to probability waves and all, Schrödinger waves. Whereas for us, the whole world is made of these 5 senses, because we have got 5 senses. So the 5 senses, the way they are creating the world, the picture, is this 5 coordinates. They will not change as long as we have these 5 senses. Suppose we develop 3 more senses, we become 8 indriyas, we have 8 indriyas, then the world we will describe as Ashtabhuta, no more Prapancha, no more Panchabhuta. Our Shastras will change. Change means in that level. It will become Ashtabhuta. All are, in our Shastras, the greatest benefit is that everything is appearance. So be it Ashtabhuta or 100 Bhuta or 1000 Bhuta, we don't bother about it. But it will not change, because our human body is made, we are having these 5 senses. So the external world is made of these 5 sense perceptions. Whatever the world outside, we can know it through the 5 perceptions. So we don't talk about the external world as it is. We talk about the external world as it is perceived by us. That is the world we are interacting with. Whatever is appearing in our mind, and that consists of only Panchabhuta. So in these 2 lines, they are completely enfolding the external as well as the internal. Whatever is happening in our mind, in our consciousness. Prithivi Vishwasya Dharini, the earth, which is the Vishwa means all, in the universe, which is holding the everything. Kham Vayuhu Jyotihi Apaha Prithivi. One day I had explained that in Shastras we have 3 Akashas. Akasha means sky, or you can say space. 3 spaces. One is Bahyakasha, the external sky, the external space, which consists of the whole external world. Then we considered the internal space or the sky, which is called Chittakasha. Because internal, whatever is happening in our mind is called Chitta. That is, when there is a wave in the consciousness, we call it Chitta. That is Chit in motion, Chitta. And the third one is called Chidakasha. 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 Chit Akasha. That is the conscious space. Now, this Bhahyakasha, we are saying the external space. This is considering our body, mind, personality to be the differential layer. That is, out of the body, mind, personality, everything is external, and inside the body, mind, personality is internal. Now, go one step further. How are we knowing the external? What is that external? Unless it appears in our consciousness, will we know the external world? We come to know only what is appearing in our chitta, otherwise we will not know anything at all. There are so many molecules and elementary particles, are we knowing them? Nothing. Whatever appears in our mind, that we will come to know. So what we are calling as external akasha or Bhahyakasha, external space, is it not a part of the Chittakasha, the internal space? You have to think. So actually it is telescoping into the Chittakasha. The Bhahyakasha is telescoping into the Chittakasha. Why are we finding it difficult to conceive of this? It is not difficult at all. It is very simple. We are forgetting that our body, mind, personality is also part of the external Akasha. The what we are calling as I, or my personality, is it not a part of the external Akasha? So as the external universe is appearing in the mind, my body, mind, personality is also a concept in the mind, in the Chitta. Actually it is in the Chit. The whole thing is an appearance in the Chit, which is called the Chidakasha. So there is only Chidakasha in which the Jiva, as he said just now, the Brahman, construing a Jiva, it is producing a Chittakasha, and through the Chittakasha it is projecting the Bhahyakasha. See the reverse flow. It is the Chidakasha alone, the Brahman, who by construing a small Jiva, it is projecting the Chittakasha, through which the Vairagya, the whole universe, the whole world projection takes place. There is nothing other than the Chidakasha. So here the clue is that why are we finding it difficult? Because we consider that whenever we are saying consciousness, that consciousness is within me and I am this body-mind limited body-mind personality, which is I am. But when we think that the whole universe, which consists of body-mind personality also as a small speck, is appearing in the consciousness, then can you call that consciousness is within the body or the body is in the consciousness? It's very simple. There we get stuck. That is why we are not able to realize this. Our body-mind personality is also a small speck in the universe, which is appearing in the consciousness, which I call as I. There the universe appears. My body-mind personality also appears. It does its work, remaining there, whatever it does, everything it does. I am not included there. I remain as the witness, the Sakshi. That is the Sakshi Bhava. It will say about that in the last verse of this section. that when the whole play, the drama of the world goes on, it doesn't affect me at all. I remain the witness of the whole thing. There, my body-mind personality does whatever it is capable of, whatever it interacts with, that is also an appearance in the consciousness. So this one clue you should remember, that where we are getting stuck, where we are finding it difficult, we are not able to conceptualize this, I call it involution, that conceptualize that always we are thinking I am this separated from the whole world, I am existing separate. You have to think that this, what I am calling I in the egoistic form, is also is a product of nature. It is a small speck in the whole universe which is appearing in the conscious space. This conscious space is the real I. We cannot call it a body-mind limited personal I. Yat param brahma sarvatma
Yat param brahma sarvatma
vishvasyayatanam mahat
Vishvasyayatanam mahat
Yat param brahma sarvatma
Yat param brahma sarvatma
Vishvasyayatanam mahat
Vishvasyayatanam mahat
Sukshmat sukshmataram nityam
Sukshmat sukshmataram nityam
Tattvameva tvameva tat
Tattvameva tvameva tat
Tattvameva tvameva tat
Tattvameva tvameva tat.
He says again, Yat param brahma sarvatma. See, today I explained you what is sarvatma. It is not that the sarva is there and which all the atma is hiding there, that is the sarvatma. No. Everything is appearing in the Atma. Atma is from where? That is the essential essence of everything. If the whole world is written on the consciousness, what is the essence of the whole world? Is it not consciousness? And what is the way we express that consciousness? We can know that consciousness only as I, not as he or there, as different from me. We can know that consciousness only as I, ourself, not as anything different from the I. So it becomes Sarvatma. Param Brahma Sarvatma. This Param Brahma is Sarvatma. Vishvasya Ayatanam Mahat. The whole universe is the Ayatana, it is the Adhara of the whole universe. It is the Mahat, the great. Sukshmat, Sukshmataram. It is Sukshmat, Sukshmataram. It is subtler than the subtlest. Why? When we say subtle, subtle, we think of the objective place, that the water is subtler than the wood, the air is subtler than the water, the space is subtler than air. Nothing like that. It is the subject in which the subject consciousness, in which all the objectude is appearing to be. That is the Sukshmatva we are referring to. It is not the objective Sukshmata. Nityam, it is beyond time, naturally. The whole time is bound by the causality. Time and causality, they go together. It's in the objectude, it is in the object field. Know that Tvam Tat Tvam Eva. You are that, and that alone, Eva is there. Tat Tvam Eva. That is what you are, and you are only that. Tvam Eva Tat. You are that. That is what you are, and you are that. So why fear? Why feel small? Why feel grief? Be in Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. Grina bhi Ananda hai, marna bhi Ananda hai, khona bhi Ananda hai, jeena bhi Ananda hai. Ananda. We will stop. We will do that. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah.
Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah.
Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah.
Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah.
Sthirairangaistuštuvamsastanubhih.
Sthirairangaistuštuvamsastanubhih.
Vyashema devahitam yadayuh.
Vyashema devahitam yadayuh.
Swastina Indro Vriddhashravah.
Swastina Indro Vriddhashravah.
Swastina Pusha Vishwavedah.
Swastina Pusha Vishwavedah.
Swastina Stakshyo Arishtanemi.
Swastina Starkshyo Arishtanemihi.
Swastino Brihaspatirdadhatu.
Swastino Brihaspatirdadhatu.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari